Now we're going to make my probiotic and enzyme salad. Besides the glowing green smoothie, this is the most important recipe of the whole Beauty Detox program. I believe it's really important to have a food-based source of probiotics rather than just taking supplements. Now, probiotics are the friendly flora, the healthy bacteria in your system. A healthy body should have 85% good bacteria, 15% bad bacteria. And what this good bacteria does is it helps to increase your immunity, it optimizes digestion, it helps you synthesize and absorb nutrients better in your digestive system. And when our digestive system is really cleansed, then our skin actually looks better. So this is a really beauty recipe as well. Now what happens is, living in this polluted world that we live in, or having not such a great diet, having a lot of antibiotics, there's pollution in the water supply, in preservatives in foods, this percentage can actually get reversed. And some people can have more bad bacteria than good bacteria. So by having these foods which contain all those good, such as this, all the good bacteria, all the enzymes, what it starts to do is fortify our immune system. It starts to optimize our digestion. It helps us synthesize our vitamins better in our intestinal tract. And as a result, our skin starts to look much better. Because the better the digestion and the cleaner our system, the better our skin looks. So, we've already started to make one of the jars here, which is basically, earlier I wet chopped some of the cabbage in the Vitamix, and I've started to pack it into the jars, which we'll get to again in a second. But first I'm gonna show you how to make the brine. What we're gonna put in here is some filtered or spring water. And you definitely don't want to use tap water for this process because tap water can contain, again, heavy metals like chlorine, which will inhibit the growth of the friendly bacteria. So again, make sure it's filtered or spring bottled water. And then you're gonna add some ginger root, which you don't have to chop that much because the Vitamix is so powerful. This is for flavor. If you don't like ginger, you can just leave it out as well. Or you can get really creative as well if you like caraway seeds or other flavorings. You can put that in your brine. And this is some high quality sea salt. High quality sea salt has trace minerals in it, and it adds some flavor to your salad. Not too much, but just a little bit. Here I used about a teaspoon. And instead you could also use unpasteurized miso, which will have the same flavor and quality with some additional health benefits. So everything's in the Vitamix for the brine. We're gonna start on low. Great, as you can see, that just took a couple seconds to mix in the Vitamix. Great, so now, before I actually wet chopped all this cabbage already, and I already started packing it into the mason jars. So I'll demonstrate how that's done. And I want to point out that it's really important that everything that touches the salad, from the bowl to the jar, should be sterilized beforehand, including your Vitamix tamper, which we're going to be using. That's really important so that it keeps only the good bacteria from proliferating in your salad. So what I'm doing is I'm adding this in layers. You want to put a little bit at a time. You can use your fingers, assuming that they're really clean, and you're just going to keep packing it in there, a little bit at a time, and you're going to stop about 2 inches from the top. And then you're going to take your tamper, which is actually the perfect shape, this nice flat bottom, and you're going to press down really hard. And don't be afraid to use your muscle, because you really want to compress all the air out. Now what we're making is basically raw sauerkraut. But when I say that word, people usually think of, you know, the soggy, boiled mixture you get at hot dog stands, which is not what we're making here at all. What we're making is a fermented vegetable mix. And fermented vegetable mixes have been used for centuries around the world, in China, in Japan, Russia. And because they're now so lacking in our diet, I believe that's one of the reasons that people's health is deteriorating so quickly and people are aging so quickly. Again, it's so important to balance the bacteria in your body, which 80% of your immunity is actually in your gut. So this is supporting that directly and benefiting your entire body. So that's pretty good. I packed it down to about 2 inches from the top. So the next thing we're gonna do now is pour in the brine we just made, and what you're gonna use the amount to just about the top of the cabbage mixture. It's gonna start to trickle down, so do it slowly. And just to the top. Before I chopped the cabbage, I set aside some couple whole leaves, which look like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to roll them really tightly into logs. We stopped about 2 inches from the top with our cabbage and brine mixture. And the reason we stopped from the top is because as this starts to ferment, it's going to actually expand. But we don't want to leave just air space at the top. So the cabbage leaves are perfect because as the mixture expands, the cabbage leaves get pushed up to the top and they get smaller. So everything underneath the brine is protected in that anaerobic environment. It's protected from mold, it's protected from bad things growing. The leaves on the top you may see sometimes in some of your mixtures some black spots that form, and it's fine because we're just going to throw the leaves out anyway. You're going to open up the jars and discard the leaves. So that's totally okay, and it doesn't mean your mixture went bad or anything. Now, there's many different ways to ferment, but this is the one that I found is the easiest and comes out the best. So you really want to pack the leaves all the way to the top. I'm going to keep rolling until I can't fit any more in there. I think I can just squeeze one more in. Great. So it's really tightly packed in there. I'm going to put the top on my mason jar. And then we're going to keep this in a dark cabinet somewhere. Ideally around 70 degrees if there's a spot in your basement or in your kitchen that's about that temperature. You're just going to leave it there for about 5 days. If you live in a really cold place, you can actually put a towel around it. If you live in a really hot place, it may be ready in as little as 3 days. So what you want to do, what I suggest doing, is putting a piece of masking tape on the top with the date you started your batch, so there's no confusion and you know exactly how long you've been fermenting. And you can tell that it's working because you'll see little bubbles start to form, and that means the probiotics, which are naturally on the cabbage already, they're starting to proliferate and grow. And when you open up your jar and you throw out the leaves and you taste it, it should taste really tangy and have a nice, fresh, tangy taste. And this is one of the most important foods for your health and for your beauty.